How to deal with and meet reactivity during the awakening process is the topic for today's video. I received an amazing comment under one of my other videos. I'd like to read it because I think that this comment is going to help a lot of people during the process. So the comment is from the video, Emotions Before and After Awakening, What Really Happens. The commenter is Soul Wanderer Sasha, and the question is, another great video that resonates, Raven. Thank you. You're very welcome, Sasha. For me, it feels like the most identified patterns, such as expectation/frustration, only get noticed during or after the reaction. Could you make a video at some point about techniques or ways to slow down enough so that those patterns are being observed in real time or before they arise? Appreciate your work. Thank you so much, Sasha. So yes, I can definitely suggest some tools for reactivity, specifically expectation and frustration. So there's two mechanisms that are happening when we inquire into different things. There's the direct felt sense, and then there's also the beliefs and the thoughts associated with it. And we can meet those and work with those at two different times, depending on what is in your direct experience at the moment. So I always say, if whatever is being felt in the body sensation, if there's an emotion, if there's something happening in the body, go there first. The time for self-reflection and self-inquiry can happen later. But if you're feeling, like they said, frustration or some sense of expectation, you can feel that in the body right at that moment. And rest in that and see if you can release a little bit any form of expectation or desire for that moment and that emotion, that sensation to be different than it is. Because the mind will come in, if you're feeling frustrated, the mind will come in and interpret that as if there's some problem to be solved. But what if it's just frustration? Why does there have to be a problem? Once the frustration passes, you can look into any type of belief that is embedded in the frustration. The belief that maybe if there's frustration, that means that there's something wrong, that there's something needs to be fixed. Is there a belief that everything is supposed to be happy all the time? Sometimes it helps as well if you visualize body sensations and emotions as like a fog or a mist. The fog comes, it enters the body, it passes through, and then it comes out. So it's not personal, it's not happening to anyone, it's just frustration. And it comes, it's felt, and it leaves. And you can meet all of your emotions like that. I say that would be the first step, is to neutralize the opinion about the sensations that you're having, the frustration, that sort of thing. Then also be kind and patient with yourself on the process. So by slowing it down, you are going to, at the beginning, just notice. And at first, you are going to notice after the fact, and that's okay. So the example that I use, the visual that I use, is imagine that you're someone that wears a wristwatch every day. And one day you go to work and you forget your wristwatch. So the reactivity is similar to checking your wrist for the time in the morning when you forgot your wristwatch. At first, you just go and you check your wrist. It's automatic. So reactivity is the same way. You just, it's so quick that you don't even notice. And anybody else can turn to you and say, well, Why did you look at your blank wrist looking for the time? There's no time written on your skin. Why would you do that? So after the fact, you can say, well, I wasn't looking at my skin on my wrist for the time. It was just an impulse. It was just... So just noticing that impulse after the fact and not being, I guess, hypnotized by the automatic nature of it, and noticing it after the fact, that's huge. That's huge. That means that it's not operating in the background. So just the noticing of it, and noticing it with grace and compassion. So we're not beating ourselves up for having the reactivity, but you're on that first step of noticing. The more that you notice the reactivity, right? The more that you notice that, oh, I'm checking my wrist when I don't have the watch. By lunchtime, you're not going to be checking your wrist as much. Or you might start lifting your arm. You remember you forgot your watch, and then you put your arm down. So then that's the second step, where you're going to, the noticing is going to allow you to slow down, that you're going to start noticing the feelings come up before the reactivity. So that might feel like, let's say with anger, you're going to slow it down, that you're going to start feeling that build up before the reactivity happens. And at that point, you can acknowledge with yourself if there is something in you that feels incredibly uncomfortable about feeling the anger. What would it feel like to feel that emotion, feel that anger without discharge, without releasing, without reacting? And you can, in certain situations, remove yourself from the situation. Say, okay, I need a timeout. I need a moment. I need to, use the ladies' room, the men's room. I just need to leave the situation. And what would it feel like to feel that emotion without reacting? And you will, as you practice this more and noticing the whatever it is that's happening inside, you start to get very curious about, okay, what is the belief here that this shouldn't be here? Does it feel unsafe? As a child, was this emotion unsafe to feel? Look really deep into that, because the nervous system might be afraid to feel that emotion. And the reactivity is a survival strategy that prevents you from fully allowing that emotion to fulfill its life cycle and then release. So I would look into that. And then once you've gotten really touched into the body sense of the emotion that's coming up and any beliefs that's happening, then in moments of reflection or meditation, then you can look at patterns and see, are there certain situations, are there certain people, are there certain times, places where this reactivity is stronger? Are there certain family members that create frustration or create this reactivity? So once you can identify that external stimulus that is causing the reactivity, that's when you can then inquire, because now it's not the body sense, you can inquire, what is the problem? Like in the mind, what is the belief that is the problem? What shouldn't be here? We're looking at thought patterns, we're looking at beliefs, we're looking at what is operating in the background that is creating that belief that things should not be the way that they are, or the person needs to be a different way. They need to speak the way that we speak, or they are acting in a way in that situation like that we wouldn't act. Those are all ways that you can look at the reactivity from different angles. Eventually, the looking then softens and you get to really, really, really see, what is it? What is it that is not being accepted? What is the resistance mechanism? Is it a protective mechanism? And from there, you'll naturally move into a place of equanimity. And equanimity is different than indifference. Indifference has a pushing feeling to it, a rejection. It's an abiding in what is. So I hope that helps anyone who is struggling with or is meeting reactivity and would like to meet it. So think about the idea of like wearing a wristwatch. The reactivity is there at the beginning of the day. By lunchtime, you don't check your watch as much, and then by nighttime, the reactivity fades. So meet it with grace, meet it with compassion, and meet it with love. Because just the fact that you have the desire and the wish to quiet the reactivity and to meet what is, that is huge. That's a huge gift that you're giving to yourself and to others, because you're creating a beautiful, loving, healing space where you are not putting yourself in a situation that you would be hurting others. So I thank every single one of you that is on this path. Thank you for doing this work. Thank you for all of your dedication, because this beautiful, loving heart opening is not only nourishing for your own sense of presence, but you're also creating that beautiful, loving environment for everyone in your life. So thank you very much.